We are in the midst here of talking about one of the big problems of our time. The fact that we have socialized fire departments. And on the line with us is Troy Conrad from Los Angeles, who's busy organizing a million strong against socialist fire departments. Troy, you're still with us, right? Troy,
I'm here.
There you are. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because we had people with more questions, and I wanted to hit them before we wrap this up. Mark from Edina had a question, and Mark, if you're on the line or a comment, Mark, what did you want to ask?
Yeah, I'm on the line. I mean, is this for real, or are we being punked? I mean, is this MTV? Is Ashton Kutcher going to jump out from someplace and say that we've all been punked? Because I really can't believe what I've heard. First of all, I mean, on so many levels, I don't know if I have enough time to talk, but first of all, Obama didn't invent the fire department. Fire departments are not federalized. They're municipal or they're local organizations. They are on the local level. They are not run by the federal government. And
so that is actually true. However, most of the fire departments in the United States receive federal funding, and that's not to mention the Forest Department, which is federal, and that does receive a tremendous amount of money to fight fires. And then you have
what's wrong with that? What's wrong with receiving federal funding to fight fires?
Because my taxes are going to pay for someone else's house who left their iron on, and I don't think that we should be socializing.
What if your child was at home alone and dropped the iron? What if your child was cooking in the kitchen, frying chicken or making whatever it was he wanted or she wanted to make, and the curtains caught fire, and the next thing you know, your house is ablaze? Don't you want someone to come and fight that fire?
That's exactly my point. I can afford to have private fire insurance.
How do you know you can afford? How do you know what your situation is going to be at some time in the future? The other question I have is, if I own shares in the fire department, will this be a publicly traded company? Because I'm thinking maybe I want to make money off of this. Will I get a discount?
Well, these will be private franchises, and people will be able to open their own fire department stores.
Why should I be able to buy into it? Why should a war profiteering company like Halliburton be able to make money off this? Why shouldn't this be a publicly traded company?
Well, I think Halliburton can probably do it better without taking taxpayers' money.
Charged with overcharging has overcharged the federal government for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and for everything
that's
they
exactly
have done.
Why
they have overcharged the government and are being prosecuted for it. So I want to know how it's more efficient.
Because they've overcharged the government for the Iraq and Afghanistan war, they can afford to provide cheaper fire insurance.
No, they can't afford. They're going to pay it out to their shareholders. Well, let me just ask
they
you
have so much money.
One more suggestion, because I just can't believe what I'm hearing. Why don't you have a private option? Why don't you and all the people who want to have private fire insurance opt out of the municipal system, so that if your house burns down or you have an emergency and you need the police, you can't use it. You have to call your private fire company, and everybody else who wants to stay in this system we can stay. That way we can actually find out which system is better and which system is cheaper. Have a private option.
Yes, there are private options. There are some already in place, privatized fire departments.
Don't destroy an entire system that works well just because you feel it doesn't. Have your private option and let everybody else who wants to have a municipal fire department have it.
Thank you, sir. You make a very good point. You're a little misguided, but I hear what you're saying, and I hope no fire ever happens to your home.
Okay, thanks, Mark from Edina. We have another question for you.
Frank here has got a question for us. We got to turn up this microphone here. Just a moment. Okay, I think we got his mic up. Let's try it again.
Okay. This is a great idea, and one thing that hasn't been talked about is competition, because we always have to have competition. It's kind of pesky. We start off that way until we can get to a monopoly. How are you going to deal with the fact that there's probably going to be multiple people vying for your business? How are you going to contact and get the cheapest price when you're having a fire?
Well, we're actually in talks with possibly having Priceline be involved with this, so that if your house is on fire, you can quickly go online and make a bid on Priceline, and you can set whatever you want to pay for your house to be extinguished, and one company is guaranteed to pick it up as long as you meet the minimum requirement. And so I think that that's really a great solution to this. So let's say you only want to pay $400 to have your fire put out. Someone will do it for that. It just might take them longer to get there.
I I am imagining talking to William Shatner when my house is burning, and him saying, you know, tough luck. Beam me up. Meet me up. My house is on fire.
He would be the greatest spokesperson for having fires put out from space, wouldn't he?
Now, we've heard people talk about in the healthcare debate about the idea that they want to be able to buy health insurance for certain things. Like, for instance, I don't want mental health insurance for that, but I do want it for broken bones and things. Is there something that can be done here like that? I want my living room saved, but not necessarily my bedroom?
Yes, we do have. It's you know, you get those flyers for carpet cleaning. You know, 2 rooms for $49. So I think a lot of the companies are looking at a system where they'll save the most important room. You can buy 1 room, 2 room, 3 rooms. You know, most people don't want to save their bathroom. They always want to remodel that after a fire. So I really think that that's an effective way to go. Sometimes people don't want to save the whole house.
Or maybe,
so this enables the consumer to get what they want.
Okay, so maybe I get specific insurance maybe for a grease fire as opposed to a wood stove fire or something like that.
Yeah, they're offering categories of grease fires, wood fires, explosions, firework accidents. There's a lot of different things, and you obviously you're not going to be covered for everything.
Well, Troy, I appreciate that you're able to join us today and talk about this. Again, if people want to get involved, how can they find out more about how to stop socialist fire departments?
Just go to angrytownhall.com and remember that on 9/9/09 we will be staging these protests at fire departments across America.
All right, that is Troy Conrad, who is on Facebook and is in comedy, by the way. So thank you, Troy, for joining us very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
All right. And for our callers who participated, thank you for engaging in the debate. Obviously, it's a joke. But I you know what?
Point was well made, though.
Point was well made. Just insert the word healthcare instead of fire departments there.